everybody, and welcome to the return of the wrestling show. Note that I didn't have any concerts to go to this weekend, so Kingpin and I are here doing this show. Speaking of which, how are you tonight, Kingpin?
I'm doing pretty good. Sorry if you're catching a bunch of feedback out there on YouTube. I didn't have it muted while he was doing the intro.
And so far out there in the YouTubes, we got uh, Buck out there. So evening, Buck.
What's happening, Buck? How are you tonight, sir?
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever got a chance to see Blackstone Cherry live in concert, but man, they put on a hell of a show. They were
No.
probably they were probably the highlight of the concert. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love Black Label Society, you know,
Never
but
heard.
Zach Wild's band,
Never
you
heard.
know, former guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne.
I don't know who Ozzy is, and I know he had a guitar player. But if Zach Wild was sitting next to me, I wouldn't. Why? Hey, dude, what are you doing in my room? I
Uh, you know, but
have no idea who either one of those black people you are just talking about. Black Label, Black. Just I don't know.
Blackstone Cherry is awesome. They're kind of a hard southern rock kind of band. You know, they
Yeah,
combine like hard rock and southern rock.
you should look up Ryan Upchurch.
Yeah, kind of in that kind of vein.
Oh, you know who Ryan Upchurch is? Okay, cool.
Yeah, and
Christian
James,
740s out there.
yeah, evening, Chris. Um, Shit, what the hell is the other guy's name? I always forget the guy's name. I'm subscribed to this guy on YouTube too. But hold on, let me find my
Adam
ticket stub.
Calhoun.
No, no, no. He was at he. This guy was at the was performing in the concert. It's
Uh,
James Jared Nichols. James Jared Nichols. That's who it
yeah,
was.
I never heard of
He's
him.
a look him up on YouTube or Jared James Nichols. Excuse me. Look him up on YouTube one time.
Yeah,
Dude can shred on the guitar.
nice.
He, he's like a blues guitar rock guitarist. He's got his own stuff, and then he does like covers of Stevie Ray Vaughan and stuff like that. He's really good.
Nice.
But he was there. He played. He was at the concert, and um, DJ Play Nice knows who that is because me and him were talking about him in the YouTube chat on one of the shows last week before. I think it was on Gizzard's Friday night show. We were talking about it in the YouTube chat. But yeah, he's a really good guitarist too.
I've come to find in the years that I've been on the internet, well, not really, because I hung out on 4chan and stuff like that way before I came on to YouTube. But since I've been hanging out with y'all, I'm really impressed at how much you guys know about stuff. Like, I could whip somebody's butt in Jeopardy. I have quite a bit because I've got a ton of useless knowledge stuck in my head.
Hmm.
You guys are like you, Travis P. Levin, DJ Play Nice, man, Squib. All the information that you guys come out with is like, holy cow! I don't know anything. You guys are smart.
Yeah, real quick, I gotta prove to Buck. No, Buck, I was at this concert because here's my ticket stub. So, yeah, it sucked was Black Label Society had to cut their set short because there was a storm coming in. They were performing Stillborn, and you could see behind them, like they're here, right? The stage is here, and then behind them is nothing, right? Because this was the concert was set up in a field. Oh my goodness, it's itchy. And you see, so say the top of my ticket stub is the top of the overhang for the stage, right? You got Black Label Society down here performing Stillborn, and then up here, all you see is freaking lightning behind them, like going all the way across the sky. If you didn't know any better, you would have thought it was pyrotechnics because the way it was it looked. It went way for one hell of a visual, but definitely wasn't it raised the safety issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, especially it's not just the equipment and the band; it's the people standing out in the middle of the field. First off, it's a bunch of lightning; it's going to rain any second, so that's going to be
Hmm.
miserable. And then if one of them pedestrians get hit by a bolt of lightning, Good grief.
Uh, the rain probably wouldn't have been a big a deal because it was hot as all hell last Saturday. It was,
Yeah, but you guys aren't 18-year-olds. You know
yeah.
that's not there's not going to be mosh pits at a concert like that. You know, so
Well,
when it
there
rains,
was, but nobody was. Everybody
grown
was just
folk got to
getting,
go to work tomorrow, so they don't want to stand out in the rain.
man. It was sweltering though. I mean, I'm sure it was hot in Baltimore last weekend.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know me, I could live in the oven, man. Turn it up.
Well, I mean, look at the back of my hands still. They're still red as hell.
Yeah,
That's how bad the sun was last weekend.
I'd live in Death Valley if I could build a house there and get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris agrees with you. He said he feels like an idiot when he when he's talking to.
It's helped me quite a bit because I tend to dominate a lot of conversations. Uh, because I just talk a lot, not because I'm like aggressive or I know more. I just end up running my mouth a lot more than a lot of other people, and it's really helped me just sit back and be quiet and listen.
Sometimes it's like you get caught up in what you're watching instead of actually being part of the conversation.
Yeah. Well, that's why I
Like
always
those,
tell people, you know, I still come from the consumer. You know, I make videos and I hang out with a ton of different, content creators from big subs to no subs and all over the internet and all that. But I evaluate this stuff from a audience member's perspective. You know, it just happens to be one day Travis P11 saw me in the chat and was like, "Hey, man, you do videos now? Come on my show." So that just he just happened to do that. If he didn't happen to do that, then I'd still just be a regular audience member.
it's like how you got being on my shows was you were out in the audience and you kept asking questions about one of your guns or something. He was like, "Why don't I just send you a link and you jump in here? It'd be a hell of a lot easier."
I'm like the hillbilly Jim of gun channels or YouTube because like I'm the guy who was in the stands and then I got into the ring and started. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I can see that. And way
Yeah,
to tie it right back into wrestling too.
right. See.
Well, well done. That's what you did there.
And by the way, Chris, I don't know if how much it's been said or whatever, but congratulations on getting married and all that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Yeah, brother. If anybody hasn't gone over to my Instagram channel yet, I have pictures up there from the concert last week. And anybody wants to check those pictures out, I have pictures of Blackstone Cherry performing and some of Black Label Society. Some of the Black Label Society pictures got corrupted, which sucked.
I tried to go on whatchamacallit Instagram the other day. It's been like 6 months since I turned on my Instagram account.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to give him my birthday and all kinds of information still again to get back on.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big hassle. I don't know. I don't want to. I like doing the every second matters stuff for Instagram, but I don't really care for Instagram anymore.
Yeah, I can see that. Really quick.
Okay, that
Share.
was really loud. That was a
I'm
scream.
going to share a picture. I just love the way this picture turned out. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty good picture, like with all the shadows and the lights.
Yeah. Yeah, because the way the lighting was, that's Zach Wild, and he's completely silhouetted where you can see the drummer, but you can just see like his hair and him playing the guitar and stuff.
Yeah, and his hair flopping in the wind like that. That's a
Uh huh.
good shot. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Scotsman would have been proud. He's wearing a kilt.
yeah. So I guess I don't know. I always thought that you had your bachelor party the night before you got married. but I guess apparently they haven't gotten married yet.
No, but there's another picture with him singing.
That wouldn't be bad if that guy's head in the middle wasn't there.
Yeah, I know that
Like
was a problem. He kept getting people in the way.
that guy right there, that'd be another really good picture too. If you could edit out the crowd that's in front of you, like that guy's finger and that big bald headed dude right in the middle.
Hmm. Yeah, I know that got on my nerve. As soon as I would take the picture, somebody would stand up or something like, ah! You know, it was by
Yeah,
that
there's
point.
some good pictures.
Yeah, those are the ones I got from Black Label.
That dude with the guitar in his hand played for Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah,
He's so how old is he? He looks like he's got brown hair and big muscles.
he's around our age, maybe a little older.
So how would he be playing for Ozzy Osbourne?
He,
Okay, Ozzy Osbourne, not Black Sabbath. Okay, yeah,
yeah, not yeah. He played for Ozzy in the '80s and
I get
through
it.
the
Okay,
'90s.
yeah, okay, now it makes sense.
It's funny how he got the job. He told the story on that metal show. He was working at a gas station in New Jersey, which is where his home state is, and a limo pulls up, and it's freaking Ozzy Osbourne. And Ozzy had just lost his guitarist that replaced Randy Rhoads after Randy Rhoads died in the airplane crash, and somehow him and Ozzy get talking. And long story short, he quits his job at the gas station that night, gets in Ozzy's limo, and the rest is history. Here's some of the pictures I got. Oh wait, I don't got much. I'm not sharing. That would help, wouldn't it?
Thursday the 9th. Okay, I thought. Okay, I already got that written down. Okay, cool. I think you already told me that thing first. Yeah. By the way, anybody who's listening to the replay or hasn't, maybe Buck or whatever, Tread put out two awesome videos today, and I highly, highly recommend definitely watching the one with Pumpkin, because she will uh, respond to you in the chat. So that's really cool. If you haven't watched Tread's video, make sure you go watch those last two videos.
But that there, that's the sign for the venue we were at. That's right outside Inwood, West Virginia, which is outside of Martinsburg, down on 81.
Shiley Acres.
Yeah, it's right off of 81
Yeah.
between Inwood and Winchester. Damn it, that's the wrong pictures. Why did it bring up? That's not what I was sharing. Somehow it went back to being Black Label when I had. That's not who I had pulled up. Let's try this again. Ugh. Technical errors. There, now we got the right band. Yeah, that's Blackstone Cherry when they were playing.
Yeah, I've never heard of either one of these bands. I thought Black Label Society was like some type of alcohol or cigars or something.
No, they were playing just as the sun was going down. So some of the pictures got washed out a little because of that. You know,
It's
not much you can do about it, huh?
Are you using a camera or just your phone?
Just my phone. And when on the camera, I could have adjusted settings to compensate for that, but on a phone, there ain't shit you can do about that.
My friend bought me a. Is that traffic? Can you hear that loud?
It might be out because I got my window open. It might
Well,
be
yeah, so
cars.
do I. A car just drove by, so if it's loud, I'll close my window. I ain't trying
Well,
to
I
pick.
thought maybe you were hearing the cars just going by
No,
out
mine's
beside
not.
my window, so I didn't know if that's what you were talking about. I was about to say the same thing. If you can hear it, I can close the window.
No, I'll just close mine. Anyway, my friend bought me a camera from that Five Below store, and
Hmm.
I checked it out, and it seems like it's all right. It seems easy enough to figure out. All I got to do is figure out how to get my. Once I get a video shot, get it onto my computer, and then figure out how to get it from my computer onto YouTube.
Yeah,
But I gotta go buy a memory card for it.
yeah. I got a fairly decent SLR. digital SLR that I could have taken, but the venue didn't allow flash photography. But you could take pictures with your cell phone, so I couldn't take the camera in. So
Chris said his son loves Black Label Society. No, that's a band's name. That's not like a group of bands' names, right?
no, that's Zach Wild's band, Black Label Society.
All right.
Yeah, they put on a hell of a show until weather interfered. They played like 7 songs, and then the weather said, "Nope, no more. We're done." We left here 10:30 in the morning to go to the concert. Concert started at 1. We left the venue at 10:30 and got home about 12:30. So that was an all day affair.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, there were like 6 different bands or artists that performed. Well, I shouldn't say that. There were more than that because one of the scheduled performers, I guess you could say, was actually a school uh, where you paid and you go and learn how to be a rock star and all this stuff. And they had different bands from that school that were performing under the school's name. So there were probably like 10 different bands that went on that day.
Mm-mm.
So, oh, you got your money's worth. I mean, it was $45 a ticket, and when you consider all the bands that were performing, that's not bad considering you pay that to go to a concert in Baltimore and you're sitting up in the nosebleed section and you might have 2 bands perform. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it takes you 2 hours to get to Baltimore.
Yeah. I
But
mean, just the way the arena is set up compared to what this place is set up and how many bands were playing and stuff. $45 a ticket wasn't bad for what we because it was basically a festival. It wasn't just a concert. There was a bunch of people performing and stuff. It was like a 1 day festival.
folks got some shooting videos coming.
And I gotta work on the gun belt video this week. Get that out. Yeah, I gotta figure out what else to do after that. What the next video is gonna be.
I got one, maybe two more gun videos coming out eventually,
Mm-hmm.
and then that'll probably be the end of my gun videos for a while. I'll have to figure something else out.
So, uh, we are almost a half hour into the show, and we haven't even talked about what the hell the show's about yet, other
What
than
is
you being
what is
the head
Clay
judge.
dying in Whitechapel?
I've heard of As I Lie Dying. I haven't heard of Whitechapel. I know what Whitechapel's in reference to. Whitechapel's the neighborhood in London where the Jack the Ripper murders took place. But the band, I don't think I've heard the band.
So, what kind of wrestling news do we got?
Well, you know Sasha Banks is, and then Naomi, how they were the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They got pissed off about something that was taking place on Raw and walked out.
What do you mean, like left the backstage and didn't
They
come out and do their match, or they just walked out of the ring?
they went into the office of the personnel director, um, Joe Laurinaitis, the brother of Road Warrior Animal, threw the women's tag team title belts on his desk and left
What, on camera or behind the scenes?
behind the scenes.
So, what did they tell the? Did they have a match scheduled that night?
Yeah, they were in the main event.
What did they tell all the people when the main event didn't happen?
They changed the main event to where they had to change the main event on the fly, and they've both been suspended indefinitely.
Yeah, you're
And
fired. You're fired. You're
yeah,
both fired.
yeah, yeah. There's the rumor is that they're going to be suspended until their contracts run out.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that's the way you got to do it when you got a contract on. So yeah, but you're
Yeah.
fired.
Well, they could let them go, but then after 3 months, they can go work somewhere else. So, but depending on how long they have left on their contract, like if they got 2 years left and they suspend them indefinitely until that contract runs out, they're going to pay it. Basically, they're going to pay them to sit at home and do nothing
Well,
to
why do
keep.
I have,
And,
if you're suspended, then you're I might give you half your pay.
yeah, but yeah, that's what's good. That caught everybody off guard. Nobody was expecting that to happen.
So has there been any word as to why? Or either one of them tweeted anything or whatever?
They were pissed off about what was going to go on in the main event. The main event was originally scheduled to be, I believe, a six women's match to determine the number one contender to Bianca Belair's Raw Women's Championship at was it Money in the Bank the next pay per view, and the two of them were scheduled. I think it was like an elimination match, and the two of them were scheduled to be the last two, and it was supposed to be a prelude to them starting to feud and losing the women's tag team titles and stuff. One of them was going to go on to face Bianca Belair. They got pissed because that's not what they wanted to do when they left. That's the official story that's going around.
So ultimately, what you're saying is the first mistake was putting women as the main event.
Well, it's not worked out well when they have. Let's just put it that way.
They all suck. They all suck. Suck.
Mm-hmm.
And, I try to I try to evaluate each match and each character uh, on each performance instead of just you suck and not pay attention. But when it all really comes down to it, they suck,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really not even that hot either. So the amount that they suck doesn't their hotness doesn't cover up. And I'm talking about entertainment value. Yes, they're phenomenal athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I could talk about how much I like Bianca Belair all night long, and that triple backflip thing that Ric Flair does off the top rope out to the outside of the ring. That's dangerous. That's scary, and it's impressive watching her do it.
Yeah, and for the record, he's talking about Charlotte Flair because it'll be really interesting to see Ric Flair in his 70s do that move.
Right now, but they're not main event worthy. They're women. This is wrestling. Men, big, strong, scary looking men with paint on their face wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
CNT Designs is out there. Hey, man.
Evening, sir.
You just can't do it. You can't do it. And how do you have a 6-way tag team match to get
Well,
one person?
it wasn't a tag match.
Oh, okay.
It was you got the triple threat, fatal four ways. It was like that kind of match. It was a that kind of match, but it was a 6-way elimination instead of. So you had six people in there instead of just three or four.
Yeah, but they
That
wanted
was the
tag
idea. That
teams.
was what was supposed to happen.
But they were going. It was a tag team match.
Well, no, it wasn't a tag team match. They were just a tag team, is what it was. But they were the women's tag team champions. But they were also going to have them start breaking up to go back into being singles, is what the plan was. But then when they decided to walk out, that changed the plans, and then they ended up instead of even doing a multi-person match, they did a one-on-one match. I forget who the hell it was against, but
So then this match, this 6-way match, was basically like a battle royal.
yeah, kind of. Without having to throw somebody over the top rope, you had to pin your opponent to
Now
eliminate them.
was it pin and you're out, and then 5 of us fight. Pin and you're out, then 4 of us fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but that threw a whole monkey wrench into the into what was going on later. And why they? But you think they could have just like did the same match just without those two, and instead of having it be 6 women, you have it be 4 women, right? But they turned it into a singles match.
Put two other women in there.
Well, they don't have a whole lot of women on the roster.
Right, yeah, I know. I mean, I'm sure they got two more, though.
Yeah. They didn't do the logical thing to fix the problem.
Not make a woman's match main event.
Yeah. Well, besides that, like you said, they could have thrown 2 women, 2 different women in to replace them, or just did it with 4 instead of 6, and but no, that they completely changed the match. Oh, speaking of changing matches, remember the last pay per view? The triple threat tag team match was originally supposed to be the unification match for the tag titles. They did that on SmackDown instead.
That was the USO thing that you were talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the Usos now are both the SmackDown and Raw tag team champions, having beaten uh, RK Bro for the Raw titles, tag team titles.
Right.
So but why didn't they just do it at the pay per view?
Well, so now, okay, are they going to, are both of these belts now one belt, or are they going to carry two belts?
So far, they're just carrying 2 belts, just like Roman is. There's some rumor that they may be doing away with the brand split, which means we may see a single belt emerge down the road. But for right now, it just looks like they're going to carry both sets of belts, just like Roman's carrying both the world title and the universal title.
Yeah, see, I don't watch wrestling at all. And it's been since way back the
Yeah.
beginning of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat since I watch wrestling. But it's really, I find it really interesting to talk about though. And now we watch a lot of the new stuff. But we talk plenty old school wrestling, man. So if any comments you got about old school wrestling, throw them out there and we'll talk about that.
Now, and don't let Kingpin fool you. He watches wrestling at least once a month.
Well, yeah, I mean, I watch it now with you guys.
Yeah, we don't give
And
him a choice. We tie him up in a chair and make him.
I still don't know. I mean, once again, I'm over here asking you a bunch of questions so I can figure this stuff out. But yeah, feel free to throw whatever you want out there, and we'll talk about that too.
Yeah. You know, as far as competition is concerned right now, the interesting thing that's going on is the Best of Super Juniors tournament over in Japan with New Japan. There are 5 Americans in the field for the first time. And, mhm. And 2 of them are champions outside of New Japan. You got Wheeler Yuta, who is the ROH Pure Heavyweight Champion on in AEW slash Ring of Honor, and Austin Aries, who is the Impact X Division champion, competing. And going into today's event earlier this morning, our time, Austin Aries was leading his block because it's a round robin tournament where you get points for each win. You get 2 points each win, 1 point for a tie, and 0 if you lose. He was leading his block, which is amazing that they had an American leading the block, especially somebody who isn't signed to New Japan. Which, if you think about it, plays into that whole Forbidden Door thing we were talking about last. Remember last year when we were talking about that, where you had AEW working with Impact and New Japan? Well, they started again, and remember, next month you got the pay per view between New Japan and AEW. So it's really starting to get interesting how this is working out.
Are the ratings? Um, I guess following your enthusiasm? Like, does it seem like more people are watching and they're getting
Uh,
more interested in it?
the thing with New Japan, it's all done online, so I don't know what the ratings on it would be, but they are getting very big crowds over there in Japan now. And the rumor is that they are going to finally let fans start vocalizing in the arenas and not just
Oh,
clapping and stomping their feet.
jeez.
Yeah.
Is there a view count or I
No,
guess?
there's no view counter or anything like what you would have on YouTube. It's like when you go to watch something like on excuse me, on like Netflix or something like that. There's like no view counter to show you how many times people are watching. I'm sure they have a way of doing that, but it's not made public. But with that being a worldwide thing, because you can watch it in either Japanese or English, the stuff that's on there, and you can subscribe from anywhere in the world to their streaming service. It's not like a regional thing where you have to live in a certain region or you can't subscribe. So yeah, I'm not sure what their numbers are, but I'm sure they're doing good numbers, or they wouldn't be doing the streaming service anymore. CNN Plus.
Chris Wallace is such a punk. I
Uh,
couldn't be happier that his career went down the tubes that fast.
yeah,
What a
I'm
scumbag.
leaving Fox to go over and be on CNN Plus a month later.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
why. Man.
Thank God for Discovery Corporation. Yeah, there's rumor that Brian Stelter might end up losing his job too.
Yeah. So what's going on with Brock Lesnar? Is he's not a champion anymore?
No, Roman's got both the men's title, main men's titles.
So is Brock like gone again?
Yeah, I possibly. I haven't heard anything from him recently, but it looks like they're setting up for Roman possibly versus McIntyre, which is what I figured when they added him to the main event at the last pay per view.
Who?
McIntyre, the big Scottish guy with the sword.
Oh right, yeah, yeah. So what's the deal with Roman Reigns? Like, is he just got it in his contract that he's going to be the face of the franchise for 5 years, or is it the fan base that demands him to have both titles? Like, how'd he end up being the top of the top?
Booking. It's like any other story. You got writers that write the story, and it's up to the wrestlers to make it work in the ring. Like the actors have to make the play work. I mean, the best way to describe professional wrestling, it's a stunt show and a Broadway play combined into one that and disguised to look like a athletic competition.
Well, I mean, like Roman Reigns has got a lot of wrestling talent. Uh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's. I'd say he's on a scale of 1 to 10, 5 being average. I'd say he's probably like a 7.5 on agility. I don't know if I'd go as high as 8. Uh, he's stunningly handsome. He's got a massively uh, sculpted body. It doesn't hurt that he's got long hair. Uh,
Hmm.
he plays the part really well, like the character
Yeah.
really
Yeah, the cocky, arrogant heel that you just want to punch in the mouth.
yeah, he's gigantic. So I mean, I can see
Yeah,
how he's
yeah,
very marketable.
yeah.
But it just seems like, is he that marketable? Like, are the people really that into Roman Reigns, or did he
Well,
just
the
get it?
bloodline,
Got a great agent, or what?
the bloodline T-shirts, which are him and the Usos, their faction, are the highest selling T-shirts in WWE right now.
Well, I mean that explains. That if he's that popular, then I get it. You want your best guy out front. You know.
Hmm. It, a good way to describe Roman Reigns for somebody who doesn't know, who may have watched wrestling in the '80s, is Ric Flair's cockiness with Hulk Hogan's body.
Oh no, come on, no, no.
No,
Ric Flair's cockiness more like with the Barbarian's body.
okay, yeah,
Hulk
I can see.
Hogan was kind of a
Well,
doughy.
it's funny you say that because the Barbarian's his cousin.
Yeah, the Hulk Hogan was a big dude, but he was pretty doughy. Like Roman
Well,
Reigns, you can
That
see all
depends
his
on
muscle.
which era Hulk Hogan we're talking. If we're talking AWA into his early WWF run, Hogan was Hogan was pretty ripped.
Yeah, but Hogan ripped was like it. That's like dad bod.
No, no, Jericho right now is dad bod.
Well, but that's what I mean. When you look back at the muscle magazines from like the '70s and the early '80s, you're like, oh yeah, those guys are fit. And then you look at a muscle magazine from 2022, and you're like, he did all the steroids.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that Hogan wasn't a massive, well built dude, but the guys nowadays are more cut up, I guess, like more photogenic.
Yeah. Well, they got newer workout techniques and stuff, and weightlifting techniques and
Well,
stuff
and
like
they
that
got
too.
airbrush artists that know how to, shade around your muscles before you go out to the ring too.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta figure, man. When Flair and Hogan were in their prime, that was 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. The workout techniques that they do now are insane. I don't know if you've ever seen from the performance center the stuff that these guys are doing when they're in there working out. Nothing like when we would be in the gym doing shit like in high school football or what have you, or
Yeah.
even the wrestlers. If you look at the old clips when the wrestlers were working out back in like the '80s, like those guys wish they had the equipment and stuff that the younger guys have to work with.
That's one of the advantages I have having like -10% body fat is if like when I'm doing a curl, if I twist my arm in one little direction a different way than like a normal curl, it'll develop a different muscle that'll pop up and show because there ain't no fat to burn around it. So I got a bunch of little tiny lumps on my arms that look like I got like bees stung all over my place. But I can't put on the weight, so all I can ever
Yeah,
do is cut up. There's nothing I can do to add 50 pounds to myself.
yeah. I was like you when I was younger, but somewhere along the line, my metabolism decided, nope, I'm done. We're going on vacation, and never came back.
In all fairness, I don't eat a whole lot either. I can go like, I don't need to prep food, is what I'm saying.
I would just burn carbs so quick. My body would just burn carbs off like I was running the Indy 500 and I needed to refuel. You know, running Indy 500 without a car.
Yeah.
I had a hell of a time maintaining weight when I was playing football in high school. Coach wanted me to be at least 200, 215 in that weight range, and man, it was a struggle. I've, I've said on other shows, I actually had a doctor prescribe milkshakes to me twice in my lifetime.
If I want to weigh over 200 pounds, you have to put a scale underneath the squat rack.
I mean, I was there was a while I was constantly drinking milkshakes. It got to the point where I couldn't stand to look at a milkshake for
Dude,
a few years.
I could sit down with anybody, anybody, and go bite for bite with them. Whatever, I don't care how big of a plate you brought them, bring me the same size plate, and they might finish theirs before me, but I can scrap off just as much food as anybody.
Yep.
And then I never gain any weight. And I'd be like, well, why am I
That's the way I
wasting?
was. Yeah, that's the way I was. I go. I sat down one time and I ate two 16 cut Sicilian pizzas
I drank
just
uh,
because I could.
I drank Slim Fast with every meal. Like I'd have a normal meal and I'd drink a Slim Fast with it for the extra protein and all that kind of stuff. Never gained any weight, none.
Yeah, I'm 13 years old. We're doing something with the church. I forget what it was. It might have been like a rocking chair marathon where you got to rock in a 24 hours rocking in a rocking chair, and you got it was a fundraiser thing. You got people to, um, kind of like remember the old walkathons, how you would people would sponsor you for every so many miles or what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically like that, where people would sponsor you for how many hours you rocked before you end up passing out just from being tired. And so, yeah, I think that's what we were doing. It was on break, and they brought in a bunch of pizzas for us. Yeah, so one of the parents went out and bought like 100 pizzas or some shit, you know. And I sat down and I ate two of them.
Mhm.
I was starving that night.
Yeah, I fluctuate up and down 10 pounds, anywhere from like 140 to 150, 155,
Hmm.
whether I eat or not. If I eat 24 hours a day for the next 6 months, I'm not going to weigh more than 155 pounds. If I starve to
Yeah,
death for the next 6 months, I'm not going to weigh any less than 140 pounds.
yeah. And for those of you who don't know what a Sicilian pizza is, that's the big square ones that are cut into 16 pieces. And,
Do you ever have
like,
Mommy Lardo's? Do you know what that is?
no, I don't think.
Yeah, Mommy Lardo's pizza is the jump. It's thick crust Sicilian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The pizza, the crust of one of those, each of those slices was like that thick. I forget what pizza. It was a local pizza shop out near where the church we went to was. And they had really good pizza. We would eat that pizza every Friday because they would. Uh, the school would order so many pizzas, and it was like a quarter a slice or something like that. And so every Friday was pizza day at school. But yeah, they were like that thick. That's not including the toppings. That's just the crust was that thick.
yeah. I worked
And
at
it
this
was good
bakery.
too.
I worked at this bakery when I was younger, and somehow I lost the keys to my car. I think I had them in my uniform pants, and then I sat down on like one of the pieces of equipment, and they fell out. And it's a bakery, is like a giant factory.
Hmm.
So I'm waiting for a friend of mine to show up to help me break into my truck and change the ignition on my truck. I just grabbed a loaf of regular white bread,
Hmm.
grabbed it off the cooler so it hadn't been sliced yet, and just sat there and ate every last little bit of the white bread, just bite after bite after bite after bite.
Yeah,
And then when I was finished, I was like, "Why did I do that for?"
I don't know. Yeah, we went on a tour one time of the Hostess factory up in Pittsburgh, and they made Town Talk bread, which was a Pittsburgh brand for bread. And they gave each of us a loaf of Town Talk bread. I'm sitting there on the ride home from school, just scarfing down this loaf of bread. My mother's like, I come in the house with an empty bread bag, and my brother and my stepsister are like, he ate a whole loaf of bread, Mom. She just looked at me like I was crazy. I just sat there and ate a whole loaf of plain bread just because I had it.
Yeah, that's I just had some time to kill, so I just grabbed a loaf of bread off the cooler and sat there and ate the whole thing for no reason at all.
Yep, been there and done that. It's like when you see something on the counter and it just looks good. You're not hungry, but it just looks good, and you just go and eat it just because it's there. Like a cake or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I've, there's been many a nights that I've walked into my kitchen and seen some type of dessert in a plastic container and been like, "Well, let's find out," and then it's gone.
Yep. So, I'm really not hungry. I really don't want it, but damn, it looks good. Yeah. And then, yeah, I did that one. I would do that when I was a kid, and then I get yelled at the next morning for eating it. Like, it was there. My mother was like, "Why did you eat that?" I was like, "It was there." I mean, that's the same I would say to her. It was there, and it looked good. Didn't have any other reason besides that.
Those are pretty good reasons to me. So
She's like,
what's go
"What?"
ahead.
I was gonna say, but she's like, "But I needed that for like the Tupperware party." I was like, "Oh," and I pulled my wallet. I was like, "Oh, here's $10. Go buy another one." Uh,
So what's the next pay-per-view coming up?
Next one coming up is tomorrow. Actually, AEW's got one tomorrow, but there's no way we're gonna be getting that way too short a notice on that one. I forgot all about it with the concert last weekend and stuff. I was like, oh shit, can't see if any of the guys want to pay for that one because that would be one we'd have to pay for. It's not like one the free one until we get on Peacock.
Yeah.
And then after that, God, it's either Money. I think Money in the Bank is next, and then we got the AEW New Japan Forbidden Door one after that.
Right on.
And I still don't know how much that one's gonna be. It's probably gonna be 50. Be my guess. Be 50.
But just let me know if that's what we're gonna do. I'll take care of that.
Yeah, I think Jason paid for the last one. Buck paid for the one before that, if I remember right. So
Yeah, just sign me up for the basement door thing.
Forbidden Door, man. Forbidden Door. Let's see. How much are they going to charge in Japan for it? Service is not available in your area. I know it's not, dumbass. Ooh, stupid Japanese website. Oh, yeah, I'm going to set my VPN to say that I'm in Japan, and it'll have to show me, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. There we go. Now, let me click on that again. So it should be showing that I'm in Japan now. That's what VPNs do. Uh, yeah, Japan, they're saying 4,980 yen. Convert that to English, you're looking at about 50 bucks. Or English, yeah. To the dollar, you're looking at about $50 for it. So yeah, I would say that's probably what's going to be. It's gonna be 50. I doubt if they have it up on Bleacher Report yet because they're slow as shit by getting things put up on Bleacher Report, and especially with Double or Nothing being tomorrow. I'm not sure how much they're charging for that one. To be honest. Error. Something went wrong. Yeah, I know something went wrong. My VPN saying I'm in Japan. I gotta switch it back to the United States again. Ugh. The joys of using VPNs.
Which one do you use?
You're not, and then the game gets all confused.
Which one do you use? Which VPN?
It's just built into Norton's. Yeah, it's probably gonna. Yeah, Double or Nothing's 50, so I'm gonna assume that the Forbidden Door is gonna be 50 as well.
What's the double or nothing? Is that the one that's
That's
too far?
yeah, that's tomorrow's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still don't have Forbidden Door posted on there. So, but like I said, Bleacher Report's slow about getting this stuff put up there. So Ain't much you can do about that. Just gotta wait till they get it posted. But again, like I said, it's a safe bet to assume that that's going to be $50. Yeah, somebody out there doing stupid stuff with it. Oh, there it goes. Yep, I found it. Yep, it's going to be 50 for Forbidden Door, 49.99. And when Jason and Buck paid for it, they didn't charge sales tax for it. So
Yeah, I don't care about that either.
no, I'm saying. So it's going to be a set. It's going to be straight $50. Well, 49.99. But you might as well round it up to 50. It annoys me when people round like something that ends in 99 and they round it down instead of up to the next dollar like you're supposed to. I don't know. It just annoys the hell out of me.
But you'll have to tell me off air. We'll talk about it later. I'm not even going to bring it up.
All right. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, well, anyway, anybody out there, if you like really fast paced, high flying kind of wrestling and you got access to where you can watch the New Japan right now and watch the best of Super Juniors, go back and watch that tournament from the beginning. It's gonna take you a while. You got some catching up to do. But good lord, have they putting on some crazy matches in that tournament.
A little quick programming note to give a tip of the hat to Squib Load in case he's listening to the replay. Enjoy the rest of your night at work, sir.
How do you know he's working?
No, I know he listens to a lot of replays, live
Yeah,
show replays, and he's mentioned that he's listened to this before.
yeah.
So just
Oh,
saying
he's
it.
been on here before. He's been on the wrestling show before. If you remember,
Yeah, I know. I've been here for all of it.
and he's been on the pre-show on some of the pay-per-views even. Yeah,
That
so
part.
has Snob, which is crazy. But we've had Snob show up on the wrestling show. And Stacy. Stacy's funny when she comes in and watches the pay-per-views because she's like, "Oh, he's hot. Oh, he's hot."
She didn't take my advice. She sent me
Oh,
a picture. She sent me a picture from the beach. Apparently, Houston's like on the shore somewhere,
yeah, in
and
Texas. It's in
yeah,
Gulf of Mexico.
yeah. So she sent me a picture of the beach, and I was like, "That looks good. Just stay there." And she was like, "We're leaving. We're going into the city." And she took me another picture of like the highway. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"I told you to stay at the beach." And she sent me a picture of some blue hairs screaming about racism or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Uh,
the thing with Houston, man, the humidity's so high. You're wet whether you're on the beach or not.
yeah, I know, but my advice was screw that MRAM thing and the city and all those people in traffic. Just
Mm-hmm.
stay there on the beach and relax.
No, we it gets humid here, but it doesn't get anywhere as bad as what uh, the Texas coast does. That place is literally like you walk out of the air conditioning in your house and you're literally walking into a sauna when you walk
Yeah,
out the front door.
I've never been to Houston, so I don't know. I don't really think. I mean, you can tell the humidity around here, but most of the time when it gets real humid around here, it's gonna rain like 30 seconds later.
Yeah, I haven't been to the Texas coast, but I've been like to the Alabama and Mississippi coast, and it's just as bad. Humidity on the Gulf of Mexico is freaking killer.
Just in Florida is the only time I've been. Well, I've been like Louisiana and Mississippi and you know Alabama and all that kind of stuff, all down on the coast. But the time I went to the beach on the Gulf was I went to this town called Destin in Florida,
Mm,
and that was a really good time. Nice, quiet town.
yeah,
A 15-minute walk to the beach from the house I was staying at. Yeah, that was pretty good, man.
yeah. Coco's got a nice beach. Right up, we went to when we went the last time we went down to Florida back when I was a kid. We went to Disney World, and then we went to SeaWorld. And from SeaWorld, my stepfather and mother decided we were going to drive over to Cocoa, right up the street from Cape Kennedy, and real nice beach right there. At least back in the day there was. I don't know what it's like now, but they had a really nice beach right there up the street. You could look down the street and you could see the gates to the Kennedy Space Center.
Nice. How are people so stupid? Like,
Mm,
there's intelligent people that don't believe that there's satellites orbiting the Earth, and
uh,
I can understand a lot of the moon landing thing. You know, Buzz Aldrin himself, when he was asked about, like, I think it was Conan O'Brien said, "I remember watching the moon landing," and Buzz Aldrin was like, "No, you didn't. You watched the production of what happened," and that caused a big stir. I mean, he said that himself out of his own mouth. And then there's the anyway. I'm not going to go into the whole. People don't believe he landed on the moon.
yeah,
People don't
well,
believe that men have been out in space.
yeah. They take that line and then they take it out of context because what he was talking about was how the media blew it out of proportion.
Well,
You watch
and
the media production of the moon landing.
yeah, yeah, and I get it. I get it. Like, they could have come right out and said that instead of waiting 30 or 40 years to start telling people that they did a whole edit and da 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 to make it presentable for television. And
Mhm.
people would have just been like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." But there's people who don't like when rocket ships take off. Where do they go?
Yeah, where do they go, dumbasses?
You know, and how
Yeah,
come? How come? Like, if you're in, say, just Florida, and you don't believe that people have been into space on these rocket ships, how come there's nobody in like Japan going, "Hey, why is that spaceship landing over here?"
right. Yeah, I mean, let's look at it this way, man. They couldn't keep quiet about the Supreme Court possibly overturning Roe v. Wade. You expect them for 50, 60 some years to keep quiet that they didn't actually go to the moon?
And even like I said, even that there's a lot of the conspiracies and debunkers and all that that make some pretty decent arguments about some stuff. But a lot of these people don't believe that we've actually cracked the atmosphere.
Well, a lot of those same people are the ones that believe in flat Earth too, and they think there's this big thing of water above the Earth that keeps things from being able to leave the Earth. Like, what? They're like, yeah, it's called the firmament. They're like, dude, have you ever read the goddamn Bible? Have you ever read the story of Noah? The firmament is what was breaking and falling down to Earth is what was supposed to cause the flood. You
Right.
know, there ain't no goddamn firmament up there anymore.
This one
Moron.
dude that I watched for a little while because the guy Barricade Garage would talk about him like when he was doing some of his impressions and stuff. He'd talk about this guy who does impressions. So I'd check out his video, and then he started doing a lot of live streams. I'm not going to mention his name because I'm not trying to like bash the guy or nothing. But he's the type of dude, like a lot of what he's been talking about recently has been gravity. And somebody will come on and be like, well, gravity is the force of the down force or whatever, however you would describe what gravity does, holds people to the earth, blah, 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 and the spin and all that. And he's like, yeah, but you can't define gravity. And I'm like, well, you just did. He just gave you the best definition that we understand what gravity is, and you just won't accept it. Now he's moved on. There somehow they got talking about measurements, and he's like, "Yeah, but you can't tell me. You can't really define what an inch is." I was like, "Man, you're
Yeah,
insane." And
yeah.
he's a really nice guy. He's not a bad
And
guy at all. He's
an inch
just
is
one of
one
those.
twelfth of a foot.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I used to think like that, and I kind of goof around when I was younger. I'd be like, well, how do we know that 2 plus 2 really equals 4? What if the guy who invented 2 was a psychopathic maniac and everybody just took his word for it because if not, he'd cut your head off?
Dude, I can give you one that I used to think about all the time. I used to call it the conundrum of three, right? Because you have okay, what's one divided by three? It's 0.33333 repeat, right? What's two divided by three? It's 0.6666666 repeat. What's three divided by three?
I don't know. I don't know. 0?
One. Three divided by three is one, is what we're told. But if you follow the pattern of one divided by three being 0.333333, and then two divided by three being 0.66666, you follow the pattern, it would be 0.99999999999 to infinity.
All right. Yeah, true. There's this math game that Abbott and Costello used to do, and I can't. I have to look it up and send it to you if I ever see it again. It's funny enough if you think about it and you want to look it up, you can check it out. But they would take the number 28 and divide it by like 5 or 7 or something like that. And instead of coming up with your basic answer of 3 or 4, whatever the answer might have been, they've got this completely off the wall answer. Then they go through this whole spiel of mathematics, actual true mathematics, to equal up to the same amount, and it gives you a different answer.
Yeah. It's like the hot dog, the old pack of hot dogs to the hot dog buns. You got 10 hot dogs, but 8 buns.
Right? Yeah, that's.
You had to buy like 40 of each to get an equal number. Well, 40 hot dogs and 40 buns, because then you would have, you'd have, what was it? You'd have 4 packs of hot dogs and 8 packs of buns, or something. No, 5 packs of buns to eat, and then you have 40 of each.
And not one of them will be a sandwich.
Well, they would once you put the hot dog on the bun.
No.
Yes. It's
No.
just like a submarine sandwich.
No.
Yeah. A hot dog bun is a mini loaf of bread.
No.
It's like a sub sandwich. It's like a sub bun is. I mean, I've actually had subs that were made with a whole loaf of Italian bread. There was a pizza shop in Pittsburgh used to take. You remember the sub buns that they had on the Flintstones?
No.
They would have a loaf of Italian bread that was like that size, and they would make a steak sub with it.
Nice.
Yeah, Who's on First is an absolute classic. I used to have I used to have the script for that. I don't know whatever happened to it. Yeah, that's probably the thing they're most famous for as far as their vaudeville skits are concerned.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, and it's timeless because people still like baseball, so you could still. It's not like it was gonna end up being some kind of dated reference. You know what I mean? It's still applicable today, like it was back then, because baseball is still a thing.
Well, it's still funny.
Yeah, yeah, but there are jokes that with time lose some of their luster. That one won't, as long as baseball's a thing, because it's relate. You can still see, even today, you can picture somebody on a baseball field having this argument because baseball's still a thing.
All right, let me see. Let me get over here. Let's see this one. It's Abbott, but he's not talking to Costello. He's got some other dude with him. Okay, turn on this stuff. All right. I'm just clicking on the first one that I see. So if it's got commercials or it's stupid, I didn't watch it. But you can find it from there.
Yeah, just don't put something on that we're gonna get a copyright strike for.
Oh, I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna drop the link. Yeah, I'll put it in the inside chat so you can watch it too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not gonna play nothing. If it was my channel, I'd play it. I don't care
yeah.
about all
Some of that
that.
stuff might not even be copyrighted anymore. If you like, go to one of the um shit, what the hell do they call it? Not open source. It's public domain. You go to one of the public domain websites, that could possibly even be up there. Like you go to public domain sites, and like the old Popeye cartoons and shit we used to watch when we were kids are on there.
Yeah, dude, I've got. Well, I don't know anymore because I deleted all my videos. But when I had, when I was doing stuff while I wasn't doing gun videos, 90% of them had copyright claims on. Oh, that doesn't count all the ones that Susan deleted before I could even. I had 3 videos deleted. I shoot them on my phone, and then when you push the YouTube upload on your phone, as soon as it hit YouTube, bam, they shut it off. And these were like edited videos and stuff like that. Well, my version of an edited video. So it took me a couple minutes to make these videos, and I thought they were pretty good, and they just whacked them right away.
Yeah. Getting back to Abbott and Costello, they're responsible for one of only two times Bela Lugosi played Dracula.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, everybody thinks of Dracula when you think Bela Lugosi. He only played Dracula twice, once in the 30s and once in the 50s.
Yeah, there's really nobody had like a run as Dracula. I mean, there were so many different
No,
ones.
there's one person that did. The closest one to having a run as Dracula was John Carradine, the patriarch of the Carradine family. You know, David Carradine, Keith Carradine, Robert Carradine, their father.
Yeah,
He
how many
played
movies did he do?
he played Dracula in like 3 or 4 different movies.
Oh, okay, all right. But Bela Lugosi was the best looking one. That was the
Oh,
most marketable looking.
Lugosi's the only one that was from that part of the world. You know, Bela Lugosi was from the Transylvania area. That's why he had the perfect accent and everything to play the part.
They say that like I don't know who they are, but what's the guy that played Frankenstein? What was his name?
Boris Karloff.
Yeah, they said that dude was an absolute jerk.
It depends on who you talk to and who you ask. You know, just
Well,
like anybody. You know.
like his whole movie career, he spoke like 3 lines or something like that.
Well, no, there were that was in Frankenstein. With the Frankenstein movies, he didn't have very many lines, but like when he played the mummy and some other parts, like he was in the one Roger Corman movie. He was in the what was it? I think it's was it the Raven?
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's the
I saw
Raven.
him in The Mummy, but I don't think I've seen him in anything else that I can remember.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of different movies. He's played a detective. He played a Chinese detective in a movie.
What was that other guy's name? Mickey Rooney, that used to do the bucktooth Japanese guy.
Yeah, yeah. What movie that was? God, what movie was that? Was that Pillow Talk? No, it was one of those Doris Day and Rock Hudson movies, wasn't it? Where Mickey Rooney played the Chinese neighbor who lived upstairs. Or no, that was an Audrey Hepburn movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was just like a bit that he did. I didn't know it was.
No, it was a major motion picture where Mickey Rooney was playing the Chinese neighbor upstairs with the big buck teeth and the little like pie pan hat and the long black ponytail.
Mickey Rooney, bucktooth Japanese.
Yeah, no Chinese. I think he was. I think he was supposed to be Chinese. But yeah, he played.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, I think he was Chinese. But he was Audrey Hepburn's upstairs neighbor. I forget what movie that was.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, Mr. Unishi.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah, maybe he was Japanese. But yeah, that wasn't racist at all.
Nah, that'd be all right.
Well, it's like you look at all the Charlie Chan movies. That was a white dude playing the Chinese guy. I mean, that's just the way Hollywood was back then. Most of the guys that were playing Indians in those old westerns were white dudes wearing body paint, if they were
Little
even wearing body paint.
little known fact: Jet Li is actually an Asian guy. Jackie Chan is really just a Mexican dude.
Okay,
Hmm.
that explains the accent.
But he's fluent in Mandarin. Yeah, he's just Mexican. He just speaks Mandarin really well.
You ever notice that sometimes Jackie Chan in his movies speaks English really good, and other times he can't speak English for shit?
Yeah,
Does he forget how?
I think
It's not like it's not like they somebody over him either. You could tell it's his actual voice, but sometimes he speaks English very well, and other times he speaks English like shit.
I think what happened, like in kind of like in other basic conversations, maybe like you start feeling more comfortable and you pick up on the dialect that you're around better. Or I don't know, I don't know how long he's been speaking English.
His whole
Maybe he's
life.
perfected certain phrases and words and sentences and statements. I don't know.
He's been speaking English his whole life. He grew up in Hong Kong and went to an English speaking school.
Yeah, see, I've never spoke a different language, so I don't really know
Yeah,
besides guessing how to relate.
yeah. If you went to one of the English language schools over in Hong Kong, you were taught both English and Chinese simultaneously. Because he would have been going to an English language school in Hong Kong when Hong Kong was still part of the UK before they turned it over to China. Yeah, he's been speaking English his whole life.
Oh, he sucks at it.
Like you listen to Bruce Lee talking, you listen to Jackie Chan. They went to the same school, and Bruce Lee spoke English much better. What's crazy is Bruce Lee was actually born in San Francisco, and then his family moved to Hong Kong.
You think it wasn't his mother American anyway?
Yeah, yeah. And Bruce Lee. People don't realize this. Bruce Lee had dual citizenship in the UK and the United States because his dad was from Hong Kong, his mother was from the United States, and he lived in both countries as a kid. Everybody thinks of Bruce Lee, they think he's from China. He's not. He wasn't from China. He was from San Francisco. It's like Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is an American by birth. His family just moved to Australia when he was young because his dad's the company his father worked for transferred him to Australia when he was a small kid. It's the same with what's her face, the one actress. I can't think of her damn name right now.
Charlize Theron.
No, the one. No, she's from South Africa. The one that was married to Tom Cruise at one time. Nicole Kidman. That's what I'm thinking of. She's an American by birth. Her same thing with her family as with Mel Gibson's. Her dad, the company he was working for, it was either her dad or her mother, the company that they were working for, transferred them to Australia because there were a couple of companies that back when they were kids that were starting Australian divisions and stuff, and so they transferred a lot of people that were working in the states to Australia. They may have been
I've
working
never,
for the same company for all I know.
I've never thought of Mel Gibson as Australian.
Well, if you that's where his career started. He started his acting career in Australia.
That there's zero connection with me, Mel Gibson, in Australia.
Yeah. Well, you've seen Mad Max, right?
Yeah.
That's an Australian movie.
Well, okay. Well,
I think all the Mad Max films that he was in were filmed in Australia. Well, maybe not Thunderdome, but I know the first one and the Road Warrior were. I don't know
Road
if Beyond
Warriors.
Thunderdome was filmed in Australia or not. It might have been because there were a lot of Australian actors in it.
Mad Max was terrible movie. Road Warrior was cleaned up that mess nicely. I'd say the first movie was terrible.
It's weird how fast that progressed.
You talking about the apocalypse?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, the first one you wouldn't even realize that the apocalypse happened. Yeah, and then the second one, all of a sudden, everything's gone. It's like,
Right.
what happened in the intervening time period there?
Yeah. Where'd they find all the nitrous at in the apocalypse?
Well, but we're about to have the road warrior, man. Gas prices keep going up.
Yeah, that's stupid, man.
I can see some gang getting in their cars and chasing down an oil tanker, a gasoline tanker.
What was that, Fast and the Furious? That was like what that what the first two movies were all about. Were robbing trucks on the road. At
Yeah,
least
but they
one.
weren't doing it because of gas prices.
Well, no, but I mean, how else are you gonna? What do you? It's not like you see a gas truck parked just anywhere every day that's not already pumping gas into a gas station.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to hit them as they're coming out of the refinery. No FBI, if you're out there watching, wink, wink. We are not suggesting that we put together a gang and one of us dress up like a giant Australian Jason Voorhees and go attacking an oil tanker. Just want to throw that out there for our friends in the federal government who may be watching. This is all a hypothetical.
Yeah.
As crazy as shit's gotten.
Social media companies are so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this channel called The Hard Bastard,
Yeah.
and he's completely demonetized now. He's when I first started watching him, we'd get like 100 people in the chat, and he'd get like 300-400 people. Now he gets 500-600 people steady, and he's still, in all the years I've been watching him, is still got 37,000 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did,
he may or may not have allegedly, possibly, definitely didn't do this. Created another channel called The Soft Gentleman, and he does ANAS, Approved News from Authoritative Sources, is the title of his show. Fully monetized.
oh god.
Super chats, everything. Ads, all of it. That the stupid computer people don't understand how uh, irony works and
Uh-huh.
sarcasm works.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw David Woods' video earlier this week. He's so fed up with YouTube. He's deleting his channel coming up here soon. He's going to do a live stream, and he's going to delete his channel while doing the live stream.
Yeah, there's a guy. What's his name? He I can't remember the name of his channel. His name is Frank. Oh man, Field General Frank. I don't know. His name is Frank something, but he did that like a year ago. Deleted like 1,000 videos or something like that. I don't know how many videos it was during a live stream, and they still on YouTube. Like, hey, dude, what are you doing? Deleted all your videos and you're still on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, David is completely deleting his whole channel. He's nuking the whole thing. He's telling people if you want, download all the videos that are like the ones where he's just like sitting in his study talking about Islam and shit. Like he's like, download all these videos, put them up on your channel, just the ones like this one. Put them up on your channel. I'm not going to copyright strike you. He's like the ones where I'm talking with somebody else, like on their like the old debate videos and stuff like that. You can't put those up because I don't own the copyright to those. But the ones that are like this, I own the copyright. Go and put these videos all over the place. Put them everywhere. Download them. re-up them to your channel, spread these out. He's like, I'm go. He's gonna be starting like his own website where it's gonna be linked to like Odyssey and Rumble and stuff, where he's gonna be putting all his videos from now on.
Yeah.
Because he's just had his fill with YouTube, which I can see why. I mean, he puts up a video talking about how he had a guy threaten him and they take him down for promoting violence. How the hell does that work? Somebody threatens you, you make a video about it, and you're the one promoting violence.
I've never
That,
cared about any of this. So, I mean, it just doesn't matter to me. But I pretty much, I guess you could say, got in line after about the fifth email that I got from YouTube about, uh, what do they call the thing? The policy?
uh, um, the terms and conditions.
The terms of service.
Yeah. Which,
It
if
was,
you look at the terms of service, a lot of the shit that they claims in there isn't in there.
but like, I didn't care enough to fight with him about it. So, okay, you deleted my video. That's fine. Okay, you took this video off YouTube. I get it. That's fine. You gave me a warning for that. That's fine. I don't really care. But it started affecting the rest of my channel. Like I just now, maybe a month ago, when Ruger days is probably when I got my comments back. Now I get my if you watch my video and leave a comment, not everyone, but more of them will now come up in my notification section again. For the past 2, 3 years, I've had to go all the way into my YouTube studio and click on comments to read any comment that anybody had left in my whatchamajigger comment section. And then you are victim to how many people left a comment on my video and they just deleted it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's happened with my comments on your videos before.
it was getting so bad. I'd like watch one of your videos and I'd leave 3 thumbs up and they delete it or they put it in spam. So I'd leave a comment like, "Hey, pretty cool stuff," and they delete it and send me an email. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna fight with you anymore. It's not gonna. That's what another reason either nice or 2 thumbs up because it doesn't get blocked, it doesn't get dropped, and I've watched everybody's videos every time anyway, so you guys don't need to spend a whole bunch of time talking to me. And the overlords just beat me. I don't want to fight with them anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell vehicle that was, but god damn, that son of a bitch was loud. You had to have heard that one.
Yeah, I heard a little bit. It's not too bad. I just heard a little rumble on that.
No, it was loud on this end. I don't know what the hell that was. Damn. Somebody needs to work on their exhaust or something. Jesus Christ. Shit. What the hell was I? I was getting ready to say something too, and then that truck there or whatever the hell it was went by. It's like, what the hell was I going to say? Oh, it's like when we were talking about on my show that what was it, back in November about the stats that were put out by the CDC and the National Health Service, and then they delete it for false information or misinformation because it didn't correspond with what the World Health Organization said. So a quasi governmental agency was more reputable than two actual government agencies, according to YouTube.
The last video I put out that YouTube deleted, they actually let me render it and put it live. With, like I said, I think maybe 3 videos. As soon as it hit YouTube, they deleted it. So I didn't. It didn't even upload to YouTube. They just nah, we're not doing that. But the last one that they deleted, I had Fauci, Jen Psaki, and like 2 or 3 other people that were blatantly saying, "Hey, we lied about this coronavirus thing, and y'all a bunch of suckers, and you ain't gonna do nothing about it." And they deleted it. So when I had, you know, you get the I don't know what the word is, where you can challenge their deletion,
Yeah, you
the
appeal it.
appeal. So I typed in the appeal. I said, "You deleted my video because I recorded what you had to say," and then I dropped in a big uppercase "fu" like that. Spelled it all the way out.
Mhm.
I don't. They promptly emailed me back and say your appeal has been denied.
Yeah. Well, that's like that show that I was talking about. That was 2.5 hours long. I appealed it, and less than a half hour later, they came back saying the appeal was denied, and that they reviewed the video. Bullshit, they did. It was a 2.5 hour video. They didn't review that in less than half an hour.
Yeah, yeah. They sent me a couple messages. I type in something in a comment section, and when I go to hit send, I'd get an alert and it'd say this has blah 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 in it. Hate speech, racism, or something like that, and threatens a violent, whatever. I can't remember exactly what it all said. Are you sure you want to post it? And I was like, yeah, of course. I typed it. I want to post it. So I'd hit send, and then it would delete the message, and I'd automatically
Mhm.
get an email with a copy of the terms and services. And
Yeah,
then
I
it
went
got
through.
to be where they just wouldn't let me comment on videos. It was a
Yeah,
big hassle.
I had that happen the other day. I typed something in the comment section. Do you want to type? Do you sure you want to type
Yeah,
this? I was like, yes. And then the comment never showed up.
yeah, you're lucky you didn't get an email. I've
Yeah,
gotten,
yeah, I didn't get an email. So
yeah, I've got about 3 of them so far.
the best one, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago when I went off on YouTube, that's still up on the channel. When I when I just went off when the FDA came out and said everything that we had said on that episode that was deleted.
Yeah, man, none of that matters, man. Yeah,
No,
I don't care.
but you remember when I went off on YouTube?
Yeah,
I think I called them every goddamn word in the book that night. I was, I, I, I just tore into them.
yeah, I
Couldn't
mean, they
recoup.
earned it. They deserve it. So,
Yeah. We've been going for about an hour and a half on a 1 hour show. So, yeah, I guess it's time we can start wrapping this one up. We got two people out there watching still. I don't know who's out there still, but yeah, last person to say anything was you, and that was over 20 minutes ago. So I don't know who's still out there, but if you're still out there, thanks for watching this long. Anything you want to say before we cut this off for the night?
no, just have a good night, everybody.
No. MKJ is not out there. At least he hasn't said anything if he is. But we will play his favorite of the outros just because. And then we will see you tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for This Week Unloaded right here on this same channel. So until then, have a good night, everybody, and watch this.
You guys are probably really scared right now. I understand that. But I get the better of the deal. And even though it's 3 versus 2, you guys are outnumbered because we're better than you guys. Yeah, we are. We're legends in our own mind compared to you guys. Even though you guys got the egos, we have got the wrestling skill. And this guy right here, we're the Space Cowboys.